Hello and welcome to today's video. It's the Christmas Stampathon 2023 for September, and this month's theme is Christmas light and candles and incorporating Christmas light into your cards. So I'm going for the Northern Lights technique even, and I decided to do 4 cards in one, so I'm just scoring down the centre of my cards both ways to figure out where the centre of the card is. This just helps when it comes to the inking to know roughly whereabouts I'm supposed to be putting the ink, and it doesn't matter if it overlaps, but it just gives you that guide. Grabbing out some bright colours: Lemon Lolly, Parakeet Party, Coastal Cabana, Berry Burst, and then Starry Sky. Starting with the lightest colour, coming in with the yellow first, and this is going to look like a complete mess for a good while. So just letting you know, heads up. Laying on the colour with my my blending brush. And this does look very blobby, it looks very messy, but I think the joy of this technique is it doesn't matter too much. I was a bit worried because I was like, okay, it's laying on a bit thick in places, and some places is a bit blotchy, some places it looks a bit brushed, but you'll be surprised by the end of it, it all seems to come together and it works. So coming with Parakeet Party with the smaller brush, I am tending to put the Parakeet Party next to the yellow so that when the colours blend, it will make blue, it won't look too kind of off. And at least the colours won't sort of go all brown. So I'm tending to do streaks. Obviously Northern Lights are all sorts of shapes, but I'm doing different shapes but tending to stick with the whole kind of streak pattern. Just to say, if you totally want to skip this bit, I totally understand, it's fine. Skip forward. This is just in case you wanted to watch the blending brush bit and how I laid down the colours. So my Coastal Cabana, this is, believe it or not, I just tend to go in with the same colour brush. So it looks a bit more turquoise than Coastal Cabana. My ink pad is really dried up. It's got a really dry patch in the middle. I need to get a new one. So that's why this isn't going on maybe as smoothly. But it's fine. I'm working with it. And I come in next with Tahitian Tide, and it just helps to brighten up those spaces a bit more. It's lovely to have the different tones of colours, and I think you need the yellows, the greens, the blues, and the purples and pinks to help give the Northern Light technique effect. So I did look at a few different videos. There's lots of different ways of doing it, but the basic kind of Stampin' Up or kind of inky stampy way of doing it is like laying down the colour, basically. Slap on a bit of colour and and go over it with the dark blue in the background. It just works. Like, here I am with the Berry Burst, and it was like, whoa, okay, that's a big pop of colour. And some places, again, are streakier than others. But I think why this works is at the end of it, it's not what you concentrate on. So at the moment, you see all the colour and you see all the blobs. But by the end of the card, it's not actually the focal point. Put my teeth back in. It's not the actual focal point of the card. So it doesn't matter about the streaks and the lines and the blotches and the splodges. I am leaving deliberately the bottom half of the section of the card because we're coming to cut this down. And I'm going to add a different bit on the bottom half. So cutting it down to 3 7/8 by 5 5/8 of an inch. Sorry, don't know what that is in centimetres. It's just my go-to mat and layer. And then here I am coming in with the Starry Sky and just coming around the 3 edges, so the sides and along the top. You can almost not lay enough colour down at this part, and you want to stick around the edges. It's quite nice to have a bit more of a focal point in the centre. This just really helps it look more realistic and gives that nice Northern Lights look. So you might think, oh, but you're just completely going over everything you've done already. But just trust the process. Keep going, keep going. And each one is completely different and unique. That's the fun thing about this. I've done this technique maybe once before, and I've not revisited it for a long time, so it was good fun to do it again. So after putting down the Starry Sky, I felt like it still needed a darker accent around the edges, and this really makes a difference. Coming in with Night of Navy is a darker more black blue, if that makes sense. Time for a new page, just turn it over. And it just really helps to draw the eye in. I've got some strips of card here. It doesn't really matter about the size. I think it was just over 1.25 inches. And I'm tearing the edges to create snow. When I say it doesn't matter, it's because there were just some off-cut strips that I had. And yeah, it's just a strip of white card basically. And I'm coming in with the grey blending brush because although you have the white snow, it just kind of helps them to pop out. I decided actually all 3 layers look better, so that's what I went for. Got another strip, swiping across it with my grey again, thinking, what on earth are you doing? Then I've got my grey punch and I'm punching out some circles which are going to create the moons on the card. And this is white re-inker, which would normally go on your white ink pad. It's quite sticky, and I'm spraying it with my alcohol and shimmer mix. So the shimmer mix is just from the Wink of Stella pen that I've rinsed out with alcohol and popped it in the spray bottle. I've not done this before where I've added alcohol. I normally would put normally would put water to water it down. But I thought I want to have a nice thick white blobs. I don't want it to be too watered down. I want you to be able to see those lovely white marks across the paper. And I was thinking, oh, if it's got the shimmer in it, may show up. I don't think it made a difference to the shimmer, but I felt like it dried quicker. I didn't go over it with the heat tool at all. Then I thought, oh, let me just add some extra splatter with my dark Night of Navy blending brush. And I just look. It kind of just gives that depth of like a galaxy, I guess. So layering up my strips, I've done 3 strips, as I said, and this is just create a bit of depth. Because I'm just doing a strip of glue here, note that, because this comes in handy later for when we add in the polar bears. Talking of which, here they are. That was nicely cued. The polar bears are from the Berry Cute stamp set, and the little one is very cute. And coming in with grey granite, I was going to do smoky slate to match the ink, but the dark smoky slate pen is dried out, so I couldn't use that. So my backup plan was grey granite. So the polar bears look fine by themselves, but giving them this little touch of grey made them really stand out. And it's just the outline. You don't have to do all over. I just felt that giving them a bit of an edge worked. So with one of the polar bears, I'm just cutting out nearest the border as possible, because then it saves on when I come to fussy cutting. So yes, the rest are fussy cut. They don't have any matching dies, so cue some editing, bam, they're cut out, and here's some I made earlier to join the family. Okay, so the reason why we just put in that strip of glue is now we can insert the animals, plop them where we want them to, pop on the moon, put a bit of glue, and each animal had each card had its different placement on the card, and created a nice little set of 4. So just trying to tuck him in there. So all of the animals also I put on a popper dimensionals, give it a bit of a 3D element, and I'm just using the pokey tool here just to sit that little one in there. And so the top of the animals are 3D, and then the rest is glued down. Coming in with Starry Sky card and just gluing them onto that. You might have noticed that streaky star. Can you see that? So the white was still a bit wet and I smudged it by accident, and so I smudged the rest, and it gave the stars this really nice streak, and that was me hitting the Wink of Stella. That's a really nice glittery pen to give it a nice effect on the card. So here are all the cards in all their glory. They're all slightly different. This is what I love about this technique. All different and all unique. Sorry, my voice is going. Let me try and get a drink. And I mixed and matched the bears, so they all have their own little kind of, it feels like a little story. They're just so sweet, very sweet. And there's my cards for the Stampathon. Go and enjoy the rest over on Facebook, Christmas Stampathon 2023. And do join in if you have got some Stampin' Up stamps that you can use. And we do it most months, 10 months on the 25th. And it's just a great way to get ready for Christmas. Take care, God bless you, bye for now.